Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now, but I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
Thanks, Chris. That's real helpful. All that's telling me is that Renault have jumped ahead of us slightly, and we are just a tiny bit behind Toro Rosso in the old pecking order. But you can see some of the history there. Second place, Russian Grand Prix. What a race that was, and we're back for the Spanish Grand Prix of Season 2. I've banged on about it a lot, but for those that remember, this is where we got our first points last year with an 8th place finish. I'm hoping to do something equally as special in the vastly upgraded Season 2 Mclaren Honda. You can see here, straight into qualifying, and my engine, I'm running a worn engine because I'm trying to stretch the parts out this year. I don't want to be wasting any more money or any more resource points on that reliability. I want to be spending it all on those fancy upgrades to get the best result possible this season, and of course run into Season 3 with the best opportunity possible of trying to win the championship. As you can see, this first lap is not going so well. We're very off the pace of Sebastian Vettel. We're going to charge across the line, and it's going to be P4 for now, though. 1.2 off the pace setter of Raikkonen, and one of the ahead of the Force Indias. As we go up for the second lap with a minute 20 left to go. Last opportunity to turn the wheel in this qualifying session. We charged. We didn't get the best exit, but we attack the first corner very aggressively. Try and make up as much time as possible through there. Come across the first sector split. It's 3/10 up on our personal best, and only 3/10 off current pole sitter. Run very wide out of the turn 4 into turn 5. Get it tucked in nice and tight. We have to delay the throttle input, and we're again up by nearly half a second as we come through the middle sector, coming through the tight and technical final sector, which is where we make up a lot of our time. You see 6/10 as we come through the final corner. DRS wide open, charging across the line, and it's... where is it? It's P6. What a qualifying effort. I was very surprised when I crossed the line and got that result. So you see there, of course, we have the Mercedes, the Ferraris, and only one Red Bull ahead of us. We beat Max Verstappen by 7/1000ths of a second. And even then, Fernando is only 2/10 back from there. So looking forward to this race. I get the feeling we're going to be able to do something pretty special. Obviously, we can't obviously say anything about the Mercedes and the Ferraris. They are so far ahead of us in terms of pace. The only time I was ahead of them last time out was due to the strategy, but we're going to give ourselves the best chance possible by fitting a new engine. I'm not going to run this used engine in the race. I feel as if I can go back to that engine for Monaco, where power is the least critical thing that will get us up the grid. So, much more versatile strategy than Russia. We have to do a 2-stop around here. Technically, I suppose we could push a 1 if we were starting outside the top 10. We could do mediums to hards, but of course we have to start on the soft compound tyre that we qualified on. So as such, we're forced into a 2. I can't do the strategy I did in Season 1, which was medium, soft, medium. That worked out very well for us last year. I get the feeling that's what got us into the points. So we're going to have to go soft, medium, medium, and just sort of do what damage we can in the early part of the Grand Prix, and then just pretty much try and be consistent and fast on the middle compound of tyre, as we're going to have to fend off Max Verstappen. I just thought it was quite interesting, making myself just not really paying attention on the formation lap, just making a mistake into that corner there, doing a bit of a drifting on the dust. As we now pull up, we're actually alongside Lewis Hamilton, so 2 Brits make up the 3rd row of the grid, 1 in the Silver Arrow, 1 in the Papaya Orange McLaren, as we have 5 lights for the Spanish Grand Prix. Lights are out, and away we go. Everyone getting an equally sort of poor start. Ricciardo's second phase is bad. Hamilton's second phase is excellent. Bottas has shot off into the distance. Hamilton going to be challenging for second place into the first corner. We go round the outside of Danny Rick, trying to avoid the back of the Mercedes, and of course Sebastian Vettel, who then comes right back next to us as we hold the inside of turn 4, and we're up again into 4th place. Hamilton and Raikkonen going at it, hammer and tongs into turn 4 of the second sector. Raikkonen looks to have pulled ahead. Hamilton trying to hold it around the outside. He can't do so on the heavy fuel, has to slot back in to 3rd position behind the Ferrari, and it's Bottas with a commanding lead immediately as we look to start this 33 lap race. Hamilton down to 3rd, or sorry, up to 3rd, and ourselves in 4th by sort of lap 3, beginning of lap 4. The top 3 have pulled out a bit of a lead on us, and Vettel is sitting behind us, but you can see he's still just not able to run past us in a straight line like we were so used to cars doing last season. So whether they're just conserving the fuel in the early stages of the race, you know, that Ferrari just save a bit of mixture now for him to try and come back at us later in the race, or of course try and build up a run. But Vettel with DRS got a better slipstream this time around. Here he goes. Can he look to get past? We move to the inside to defend. Vettel goes to the outside. Can he make the move? Tries to hold it, but we just hold that much more apex speed. Vettel unable to do anything to us as we now cut to the midway point of lap 6 through the middle sector. Vettel is all over us now. We're going to have to try and carry as much speed as possible through the right handle. We've actually run wide, not got the best exit. That's going to allow Vettel to challenge into the hairpin at the start of the final sector. The Ferrari down the inside. Can he pull the move off? We try and hold it round the outside if we can. Vettel still side by side as we go up towards the long left hand of the McLaren, skids wide through the back end and just so much understeer. Vettel is still alongside us as he got that tighter exit, able to straighten the car up. We try and hold it round the outside. Vettel clearly ahead. We lunge down the inside, this lovely helicopter shot into the chicane. Vettel tries to hold the position, hits us, and then gets it all out of shape. And looks like he made some contact with the Red Bull from behind. Let's take a look at this from onboard Seb now. He just leaves the door wide open into the chicane and then tries to come back at us. He wasn't in any universe going to make that corner. And then the Red Bull of, I believe that's Danny Rick just there, makes contact with him. And I believe someone's lost a bit of their front wing. One of the Mercedes into the pits as Vettel has another charge at us on lap 8 now. And he's long gone ahead of us there. That's a big old gap. We try and make it up in the braking zone. Vettel very slow mid-apex. I was just praying to get the car slowed down to not take any front wing damage, and then we try and hold it behind him if we can through the long turn 3. But look at the dirty air effect off the back of that Ferrari, just unable to keep the nose in, and Verstappen now is the car behind us. But we've got a bit of a gap to him, so let's try and, you know, keep that as it is. And then Alonso still staying in effect, you know, just behind Verstappen in P6. We now dive in at the end of lap 8. We're going to fit the first lot of our medium tyres very cautiously approaching the line. It's quite easy to speed here in the Spanish pit lane because obviously the more you build the speed up to the speed limit zone, then, you know, it's going to take you longer to slow down. I've made that mistake more often than not when I'm like online racing and stuff. So 2.2 from the McLaren boys, pretty excellent pit stop. I was a bit slow disengaging the limiter, and I don't know if that's going to cost me anything. Here comes Danny Rick, who is on the soft tyre, so he made the pit stop 1 lap early, not able to capitalise on it though in any way. So Daniel Ricciardo looking to run a bit more of an interesting strategy. Maybe he's either on a 3-stop or his final stint is going to be on the hard tyre. We now jump back ahead of Alonso, who's now in the pits. Marcus Ericsson is up in 7th place. The lofty heights for the Sauber, and Vettel comes out on the medium tyre. So clearly him trying to stretch that first set of tyres hasn't, well, it still worked out for him because he's still ahead of us. But can we look to try and make a move on him? Because we've had a bit of an undercut. We're more up to speed on the tyre. But Vettel, again, the dirty air affecting us through that turn 3. Just unable to stick close to him. Let's see what we can do, though. Ericsson slowing right down, getting right in Vettel's way. We've got DRS as we come up towards the final sector. Vettel moves to the outside. Ericsson locks up horribly and pushes the Ferrari wide, but then slowly gets it, and we try and keep the tight line. And Vettel still side by side with the Sauber. Now he's got past, and we need to try and get past, capitalise on the opportunity if we can. But Ericsson just so slow, compromising my exit. Now we've got to follow him through this bit. We're going to make the big lunge down in the chicane to try and capitalise on this opportunity. But no, we're forced out wide, get a poor exit, and Vettel has unfortunately been able to rebuild the gap. And any time that he would have lost has now been recovered. He's now disappeared into the distance as Raikkonen, race leader Kimi Raikkonen, is out of the Spanish Grand Prix. That promotes us up into P5, Vettel into P4. One of the cars that must have started on a harder tyre is way ahead of us now, splitting the Mercedes and Sebastian Vettel. We move on to lap 20 now. Big cut because nothing really happened. Cars around us made pit stops. And it was just me trying to catch Vettel as Bottas, now on the hard tyre for the end of this race, has now gone past us. Is he? No, he's going to make a big mistake, a big lock up into turn 1. And that's Bottas bottling it as he normally does. There is Alonso just behind Lewis Hamilton. So the McLaren running very well at the Spanish Grand Prix. Here we're going to get the replay of Bottas making the move and then just locking up. In all fairness, our front wing was very close to hitting his hitting his rear tyre. God, I would love to be able to speak. but I'm extending the stint on the medium tyres for us to be able to run soft tyres at the end, try and make up any kind of lost time. Bottas now retakes the lead. Hamilton tries to follow him through. We've successfully managed to hold Bottas up and allow Hamilton to catch him, but what we've now also done, Bottas got through, we defended successfully from Hamilton. He's now going to have to suffer behind us with the dirty air as we now start lap 23. We're going to come in at the end of this lap and run the soft tyre to the end of the Grand Prix. Hamilton now goes to the outside of turn 1. Is he going to be able to make the move stick? No, he won't. We're going to send it down the inside, run him out to dry, and that's actually going to put him back in the warpath of one Fernando Alonso, who I'm fairly confident also has to pit again. Just look at the state of our left front tyre as we now come in a lap 23. We're going to dive it into the pit lane now for the set of soft compound tyres at the end of the race. That's going to promote Alonso into a podium position for now. So he has been running an excellent race, and it's a bit weird for Alonso's AI because he normally does very well in qualifying but then completely bottles it in the race. There goes Vettel straight past us. So he's now got the undercut on us instead of like the first team where we got the undercut on him. And then we've got a big old gap between Sebastian Vettel and Esteban Ocon, who I think was the car I referenced earlier about running quite high and then swapping to the hard tyre later on. So we've got about one Gulf of Mexico's distance between Vettel and Ocon as we rejoin in 5th place. So we're guaranteed to get a good finish. It's just how high up we can finish, as Alonso then at the end of lap 24, one lap after me, makes his final pit stop onto the medium tyre, and he's going to come out solidly in 5th place. So we've got a Mercedes 1-2, a Ferrari 3, and a McLaren 4-5. Just reiterating my point that Spain is very much a chassis circuit, and our car has been working beautifully around here last season and this season also. But now we're going to see if we can set a personal best lap of the race. Can we do anything to that lead that Vettel has got with our tyre advantage, but his car might just be too fast. We do a personal best of a 22.4 and it's 11.6 seconds to Vettel, so I don't know if we are going to be able to do anything to him. We're going to have to put basically qualifying laps in for the rest of the Grand Prix if we are able to do anything to that gap, as we did run it wide there. We're going to come across the line at the end of lap 29, beginning of lap 30, and the gap is 12 seconds. We're now going to have to focus our attention now onto our rear view mirrors, as Fernando Alonso has been Mr. Consistent on the back end of this race. As our tyres have been wearing out, he's now within 2/10 of us. So here we go, myself and Alonso, for the first time in this career mode, fighting for some serious championship points, not just for pride. This is far much more on the line. We defend successfully into turn 1, but we get it wrong into turn 5, giving Alonso a fantastic run on us out of the corner. Much more traction on the fresher medium tyres that have got much more life in them. We're going to hold it round the outside if we can. Both cars going sideways as we now have to go on the inside through the fast right-hander. As we come to the end of the second sector, Alonso wide. We got the better run off the exit. We're going to have to try and hold it round the outside of the hairpin. Bottas wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Alonso double lock-up has gone straight into the side of us. You see it from the rearview mirror. Alonso is round, or a half spin. He's managed to catch it and collect it, and he hasn't lost out on his current position, so he will still finish. But look at this, just big double lock-up from Fernando straight into our side pod. We, of course, had to eventually turn in and make the corner. I didn't want to try and make any kind of purposeful contact, but look at him here, just double lock up straight into the side of us. Well, we sort of helped him round with our back tyre, but you know, Fernando doesn't appear to be too upset with that one. Good clean racing between teammates, but we're going to come to the line 4th and 5th for McLaren Honda. A huge result for us.
Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
The lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres. That's really where the race was won today.
So as I said, Valtteri Bottas won the Spanish Grand Prix from Lewis Hamilton, 1.3 seconds in it between the two Mercedes drivers. Vettel was on his own in 3rd place, and then we come home 4th and 5th for McLaren, 33 and 34 seconds off the pace. Then Perez just a little bit back. Max Verstappen, Ocon's one stop eventually ran out of tyre as he dropped to 8th. Grosjean 9th, Hulkenberg in 10th, rounding out the top 10 there. Moving on to the Drivers' Championship, Bottas moves into 2nd place behind Hamilton. Raikkonen down to 4th after his retirement this weekend. We're in 5th with 54 points, and Alonso, with his 5th place of the season, moves into 8th place with 20 championship points. That for the Constructors solidifies us in 3rd place, 24 points ahead of Red Bull and a long way ahead of Force India. So I think we're going to be trying to look at 3rd place this season in the Constructors. If we can keep up our form and if we can keep improving the car, then who knows when the race win will come. I'm not saying soon, and I'm not saying this season, but you know, this is promising performance from the car and from ourselves this year, actually. I've been impressed with the performances I've been able to put in. We so nearly beaten Grosjean in our rivalry with him. And you can see all the teams there love us. I think, like, you can see they're the only 2 teams not maxed out are Mercedes and Scuderia Ferrari. But that is that for the Spanish Grand Prix. A bit of a shorter one because there was a big period of the race there where not a lot was happening. It was just me trying to put in laps, be consistent, and extend the medium tyre stint. But you can see that we got a good result. This one's a bit shorter, and I can apologise for that. But, you know, at least you get in the video. That's all I can say. Next up is Monaco, the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's see what we can do there. An interesting circuit. One again, that power isn't the big problem. And then we're on to the Canadian Grand Prix, where we're going to get that huge, major power update. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy and comment your feedback down below. Subscribe to be notified about the content coming to the channel. And I will see you all next time.